The theme of the 2017 Senate Ways and Means budget, which accounts for $39.497 billion in total spending, a 2.9% increase over the fiscal year 2016 GAA, is, I hope you can all see, investing for a resilient Commonwealth. Resilience is most often defined as the ability to achieve a good outcome in the face of adversity. From a fiscal standpoint, this means continuing to reduce our reliance on one-time revenues and preserving our commitment to the Rainy Day Fund, designed to buffer our state from future unknown events. But building resilience is more than just having money in the bank for a rainy day. It is about investing in our people, our most valuable resource, investing in our people. It's also about giving local communities the tools they need to support their residents. From my experience as both a social worker and a legislator, however, there's no more important place to plant the seed of resilience than within our children. Strong, resilient children will grow up to be active contributors to a productive and thriving Commonwealth. And they represent our best hope for creating the successful future that we all want to see. To that end, this budget pays close attention to strengthening supportive relationships to help children develop the social and emotional skills that they need to overcome adversity and succeed, regardless of their background, regardless of where they grow up, or regardless of anything. We try to give them these tools. Our overwhelming scientific evidence suggests that brain development in the first 5 years of a child's life is critical for future academic, health, and social outcomes. High-quality early education is also a key factor in reducing income and racial achievement gaps. And so in early education and care, we invest $10 million for the Early Educator Salary Reserve and $2 million in new funding for preschool grant program to allow communities to provide preschool to younger children. We provide $500,000 for a new program, again, with the idea of mentoring and helping our kids and families. This new pilot program would embed parent mentors and support services in existing early education and after-school programs. According to the Harvard Center for the Developing Child, one of the most important determining factors for resilience throughout life is a supportive relationship with a caring adult, beginning in childhood. We are therefore investing $750,000 in the state's mentoring matching grant, a $250,000 increase above fiscal year 16, House 2, and the House, to serve an additional 500 children across the Commonwealth. We're making investments in other youth violence prevention, mentoring, and skill development programs. Research also tells us that success may seem next to impossible for children who experience toxic stress, regardless of their innate abilities or commitment to hard work. So to try to reduce the negative effects of children who face trauma in early life due to abuse, neglect, or unsafe or unhealthy environments growing up, we make the following investments in child welfare. $939.4 million for DCF, a $31.6 million increase over fiscal year 16. $12.5 million for the Family Resource Centers, which give families the opportunity to timely receive mental health, substance abuse treatment, and family support services in their own communities. This number includes a $2.5 million increase to expand the number of centers across the state. We're hearing that all of the areas of the state want to have a family resource center, and they should be available to children and families no matter where they live. A $400,000 increase to bring it up to $1 million for the Office of the Child Advocate. along with a provision to increase the OCA's independence. $88.1 million for children's mental health services, including funding for the Massachusetts Child Psychiatric Access Program, which we affectionately refer to as MCPAP, a national model for pediatric behavioral health consultation, and $500,000 for the MCPAC for Moms program to address mental health needs in pregnant and postpartum women. Finally, in this area, nothing is more important to our future than quality education for our children. This budget makes significant investments in K-12 education, including changes to the Chapter 70 education funding formula to fund schools across the state more fairly and adequately. There's $4.63 billion for Chapter 70 education funding so that every school district in the Commonwealth will see an increase. This includes 85% effort reduction, $55 per pupil minimum aid, and an additional funding to assist communities transition to a new approach to low-income/economically disadvantaged student funding. The committee budget also requires A&F, House Ways and Means, and Senate Ways and Means to jointly develop an implementation schedule to fulfill the States Foundation Budget Review Commission's recommendations, crucial to ensuring all of our children receive a quality and adequate education, again, no matter where they live. Families and communities support our developing children, and they each play a profound role in shaping the adults our children will become. That's why the Senate Ways and Means budget also works towards building resilient families and resilient communities. For families, we make investments in housing, assistance for low-income families, workforce training and development, healthcare and substance abuse prevention and treatment, all with the goal of fostering healthy, stable, and supportive environments which families can grow and thrive. The committee's budget increases the Department of Transitional Clothing allowance from $200 to $250 per child. It invests in a $2.6 million for a new transportation benefit for approximately 10,000 participants in the SNAP, or Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, Employment and Training Program. We invest $1 million for a common application portal to develop it to help low-income families enroll in Mass Health, SNAP, nutritional benefits, and other state benefits in one streamlined process. We bring this process up to the 21st century. To combat the scourge of substance abuse, we increase spending on substance abuse prevention and treatment by $19.4 million over fiscal year 16 spending to allow for 150 new residential beds and other life-saving treatment. We also invest in the generation that has given us so much, $28.1 million for elder protective services, a $5 million increase, and $14.1 million for councils on aging, bringing that amount, formula grant, to $10 per senior per year. For communities, we act on the notion that local governments are best equipped to determine growth and development for their communities, so we provide a host of tools and resources to address issues related to housing, public health and safety, transportation, arts and tourism, and other amenities that help knit a community together and keep it strong. As housing continues to be a pressing issue for so many in our Commonwealth, we invest $100 million in the mass rental voucher program, including allowing up to 350 to 400 new rental assistance vouchers, $6.2 million for the alternative housing voucher program to provide nearly 200 new vouchers for low-income people with disabilities to help transition them from nursing homes to stable, independent community housing, which is what they want and we want, and $2 million for housing and supportive services for the unaccompanied homeless youth. In addition, we dedicate $84.1 million to regional transit authorities to help residents get to school, to work, and maintain important community connections, and for our seniors to be as independent as possible. Finally, just as we invest in K-12 education to lay the foundation for our youngest children, investments in our public higher education system are key to building a resilient Commonwealth. Massachusetts' highly educated, highly skilled, creative workforce is critical for the Massachusetts economy to continue to grow and lead. In order to best prepare students to succeed and compete in the global marketplace, we must continue to invest and maintain our excellent system of public higher ed. In addition, this system is a tremendous contributor to our statewide workforce. So we make historic investments in higher education, $281.7 million for community colleges, $258.4 for state universities, and $521.3 for the UMass system, incorporating collective bargaining fiscal year 2015-16. In the community colleges and state universities, there's a 1% increase. Our UMass system gets a 1.5%. And we have a new $350,000 public-private partnership to establish a college savings account for low-income students in 7th to 12th grade to help our children reach their dreams of attending college. I will just quickly go through some of the others because there is so much to highlight, but we don't have the time. I suggest that you all read the great budget that you'll have before you. I'm sure there won't be any amendments filed because it's such a terrific budget, maybe a couple. Further, we invest $4 million in our workforce competitive grants. It's a $1.8 million increase over this year to invest both in our current and long-term workforce needs to help unemployed and long-term and underemployed. We have $3 million for the Innovation Institute at Mass Tech Collaborative that has been so successful in helping new sectors develop, grow, and retain the technology and grow our economy. Again, we have other investing for our future initiatives to encourage resilience. Although the amount of money that we have to invest is not large, we have made every effort to make very targeted investments that will maximize impact and sow the seeds of positive change for individuals, families, and our communities. We believe that this budget shows that we can invest thoughtfully and at the same time be fiscally responsible. By creating a focus on resilience for our residents and communities, the 2017 Senate Ways and Means budget, we recognize that we will create a stronger society by treating our neighbors with compassion and care. In an age when we are subject to rapid change socially, economically, technologically, we are affirming our belief that working together rather than focusing on what divides us is the best way to prepare for our future. We are also in the belief that hard times can afflict any of us at any time, and those who are offered a hand up when times are tough, particularly in childhood, will gain the skills and support necessary to better care for themselves and others in the future. The result will be stronger, more productive individuals, adaptable and resilient communities, and a Commonwealth in which more of its members contribute to its success than rely on it for help. We may not be able to predict what will happen in the coming years, but by focusing on resiliency now, we will mitigate the effects of the unknown. As FDR stated, we cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for our future. These are wise words for the ages, and I am proud to share with you today this budget which attempts to do just that. In Massachusetts, tomorrow's continued success begins with the investments that we make today. Thank you very much. Okay. We're going to open it up.